From dead-end space to breaking physics. The Defiant drifted lifelessly through the void, a once proud vessel of the Earth exploration fleet, now reduced to a darkened hull against the backdrop of unfamiliar stars. Inside the command center, Captain Elena Reyes stared at the main view screen, her face illuminated only by the dim emergency lighting that cast long shadows across the bridge. "Status report," she demanded, her voice steady despite their dire situation. Lieutenant Commander Nadir scanned through multiple holographic displays, his fingers moving frantically across interfaces that responded sluggishly, if at all. "It's bad, Captain. The Valkyrie override protocol has locked us out of nearly everything. Life support is running on emergency power. Weapons, navigation, propulsion, all offline. Communications array is completely dead. We're essentially a floating coffin." Elena's jaw tightened. The diplomatic mission to the Valkyrie Collective had promised technological exchange and peaceful cooperation. Instead, the moment they'd entered Valkyrie space, their hosts had remotely triggered something within the Defiant systems, leaving them paralyzed and vulnerable. "How long on life support?" she asked. 72 hours at current consumption rates," replied Dr. Marcus Way, the ship's environmental systems specialist. "We can stretch it to maybe 5 days if we power down non-essential sections and limit crew movement." Chief Engineer Samira Khan entered the bridge, her uniform stained with coolant fluid and synthetic oil. Dark circles ringed her eyes. She hadn't slept since the shutdown nearly 30 hours ago. "They knew exactly what they were doing," Samira said, dropping the scorched circuit board onto the central console. "Every piece of tech we've acquired through trade agreements over the last 40 years has hidden backdoors. When activated, they're designed to permanently brick our systems." "Designed to," Elena noted, catching something in Samira's tone. "But," a thin smile crossed the engineer's face, "they underestimated human stubbornness and our understanding of quantum mechanics. Dr. Way and I have been discussing a rather unorthodox solution." Marcus looked up from his station. "What Samira is suggesting violates about a dozen laws of physics, at least according to what we've been taught." "Taught by whom?" Elena asked, although she already suspected the answer. "Precisely," Samira nodded. "The Valkyrie have been feeding us selective scientific data for decades, keeping the real advances to themselves. Remember those theoretical papers from New MIT about quantum field manipulation? Turns out they weren't just theories." 3 days later, the command center of the Defiant hummed with renewed energy. What had once been sleek, standardized interfaces were now a chaotic blend of improvised connections, repurposed components, and hastily fabricated circuits that definitely weren't in any official manual. Lieutenant Zhou Chen, their navigation specialist, looked up from a console that hadn't existed a week ago. "What we're attempting shouldn't be possible according to everything in our textbooks." "According to Valkyrie textbooks," corrected Marcus. "They've been keeping us in the technological dark ages." Elena watched her crew work with fierce pride. When the Valkyrie had shut down their ship, they expected the humans to either die slowly or surrender and beg for rescue. Instead, her crew had torn apart the ship's systems and rebuilt them from scratch, discarding the alien limitations and implementing principles that Earth scientists had been developing in secret. "I think we're ready," Samira announced, wiping her hands on an already dirty rag. "But I should warn you, Captain, we're in uncharted territory. This goes beyond any human or Valkyrie technology I've ever seen." "What exactly have you done to my ship, Chief?" Elena asked, both concerned and curious. Samira's eyes gleamed with excitement. "We've bypassed their control systems entirely. Instead of using conventional propulsion, we've modified the quantum field generators to directly manipulate the fabric of space-time." "In English, please," requested Security Chief Rodrigo Torres, who had been helping despite understanding little of the technical aspects. "We're not just pushing the ship through space anymore," Marcus attempted to explain. "We're creating a bubble of altered reality where the laws of physics become Negotiable. If it works, Samira continued, we won't just have our ship back. We'll have capabilities the Valkyrie can't even imagine. And if it doesn't work? Elena asked. Then we're still dead in space, Zoe interjected pragmatically. No worse off than before. Elena nodded. Proceed. Samira initiated the sequence. For a breathless moment, nothing happened. Then a subtle vibration ran through the ship, more felt than heard. The emergency lights flickered, went out, and were replaced by a soft blue glow emanating from surfaces that shouldn't have been capable of illumination. What's happening? Elena demanded, a mixture of awe and alarm in her voice. Marcus stared at his readings in disbelief. The ship, it's integrating with the quantum field. We're not just bypassing the Valkyrie systems, we're transcending them. The hull is becoming permeable to certain wavelengths while remaining solid to others. Our sensors are extending beyond physical limitations. On the view screen, the stars suddenly seemed brighter, closer, more vivid. Elena felt a strange connection to the ship itself, as if the Defiant had become an extension of her own consciousness. This is incredible, breathed Zoe. I can feel the navigational data directly in my mind. It's like I can see the spatial relationships between stars without looking at any instruments. We've done more than fixed the ship, Samira whispered. We've evolved it. And ourselves with it, added Marcus, his eyes wide as he experienced the same phenomenon. In the command chair, Elena felt it too. A merging of human intuition with machine precision, creating something entirely new. Around her, the ship was transforming. The hull, once solid metal, now rippled with energy patterns that shifted between states of matter. Can we move? She asked. I think. Zoe closed her eyes, seeming to concentrate. Yes, but not like before. We don't push through space anymore. We suggest to space that it should rearrange itself around us. Try something simple, Elena ordered. Take us a few kilometers to port. Zoe nodded, and without touching any controls, the view on the screen shifted. The starfield moved smoothly, indicating the Defiant had changed position. 100 kilometers covered in less than a second, Marcus reported. No acceleration detected. No inertial effects. We simply relocated. Sensors are detecting a Valkyrie battlecruiser approaching our last known position, Rodrigo announced. They must have come to collect our floating quartz. Elena leaned forward in her chair, a slow smile spreading across her face. Let's give them a proper welcome, shall we? The Defiant shimmered and vanished entirely from normal space, leaving behind only the faintest quantum ripple, a herald of humanity's unexpected evolution, and the beginning of a new chapter in interstellar relations. Rewriting the rules of engagement. High Commander Velix of the Valkyrie Collective frowned as his flagship, the Indomitable, approached the coordinates where the human vessel should be drifting helplessly. His plan had worked flawlessly. The humans had entered restricted space. His technicians had activated the shutdown protocols embedded in their systems, and now he would claim the ship and crew as trespassers, adding another specimen to his collection. Prepare boarding parties, he ordered. Ensure the human database is preserved intact before you bring the crew to detention. Their scientific theories may provide amusement. Sir, his sensor officer interrupted, we're not detecting the human vessel at the expected coordinates. Velix's frown deepened, scanned the surrounding area. They couldn't have gone far with their systems deactivated. Scanning. Sir, but... The officer stopped abruptly as his console emitted an urgent alert. Sir, something is appearing directly alongside us. Without warning, the human ship materialized beside the Indomitable, matching its velocity perfectly. But it was changed. The hull pulsed with blue energy, seeming to phase between states, simultaneously solid and immaterial. Impossible, Velix breathed. Our sensors would have detected any conventional movement. The communications officer's console chimed. They're hailing us, High Commander. Captain Elena Rice's face appeared on screen, a slight smile playing on her lips. High Commander Velex, thank you for the lesson in Valkyrie technology. We found it most educational. What have you done? Velex demanded, his composure slipping at the sight of the transformed vessel. You shut down our ship, Elena replied calmly, so we rebuilt it better. Your fail-safes are now our features. Your limitations became our stepping stones. Behind her, the Defiance Command Center glowed with technology Velex couldn't begin to comprehend. The human crew moved with eerie synchronization, as if connected by some invisible link. Consider this a demonstration, Elena continued, and a warning. The next time you underestimate humans, remember, we don't just survive your traps. We transcend them. Without giving Velex time to respond, the connection terminated. On the view screen, the Defiance shimmered and vanished once more. Find them, Velex commanded, his voice rising in both anger and in fear. Sir, his tactical officer responded hesitantly. They're everywhere. We're detecting quantum signatures identical to the human vessel at multiple locations simultaneously. The Defiant reappeared directly in front of the Indomitable, then vanished again only to reappear behind them, then above, below, and on both sides in rapid succession. It was as if the ship existed in multiple spaces at once, defying the most fundamental laws of physics. This is Lieutenant Commander Nader of the Earth vessel Defiant, a new voice announced over the communications system. We've taken the liberty of scanning your vessel's database while demonstrating our new capabilities. Interesting reading, High Commander. Velex paled. Their most secure systems, accessed without any sign of intrusion. We've discovered the extent of your technological suppression program, Nader continued. For over a century, the Valkyrie Collective has been selectively sharing obsolete technology with humanity while sabotaging our independent research. You've been keeping us in the dark ages while presenting yourselves as benevolent teachers. On the Indomitable's bridge, several officers exchanged nervous glances. The program had been one of their most closely guarded secrets. The Defiant appeared once more, now directly in front of the Valkyrie vessel, it tall rippling with energy that sensors indicated was both there and not there, a quantum superposition made manifest. Captain Elena Rice's face appeared on screen again. We're transmitting the specifications for our quantum integration technology to all human colonies and research stations as we speak. By now, it's too late to stop the spread of this knowledge. You don't understand what you're doing, Velex warned, genuine alarm in his voice. Such technology requires centuries of philosophical evolution before it can be safely wielded. Your species is too young, too aggressive, too innovative. Elena interrupted. Too adaptable. Those are precisely the qualities that allowed us to transform your attack into an evolutionary leap. Perhaps if you'd chosen cooperation over subjugation, we could have helped each other grow. In the background of the transmission, Chief Engineer Samira Khan stepped forward. Our scans indicate your weapon systems are targeting us, High Commander. I wouldn't recommend that course of action. The quantum field surrounding our ship can redirect energy in rather unpredictable ways. As if to demonstrate, the Defiant's hull seemed to absorb an errant energy discharge from one of the Indomitable's anxious weapons officers. The energy dissipated into the ship's quantum field, causing it to glow more intensely for a moment before stabilizing. That was a warning shot, Elena asked, raising an eyebrow. Considerate declined. Now, shall we discuss a new relationship between our species, or would you prefer a more thorough demonstration of our capabilities? On the Indomitable's bridge, tactical screens flashed with alarming data. Quantum fluctuations throughout the ship indicated that the Defiant wasn't just outside their vessel. Its influence had somehow permeated their systems as well. We are willing to negotiate, Velex conceded, recognizing the complete reversal of power that had occurred in mere days. 12 hours later, Elena stood in the observation deck of the Defiant, gazing out at the vast starfield as they traveled back toward Earth space, not through conventional movement, but through what her crew had begun calling quantum suggestion, a method of travel that made traditional propulsion seem primitive by comparison. Marcus Way joined her, offering a cup of synthesized coffee. The Valkyrie delegation has departed. They've agreed to full technological disclosure and reparations for their centuries of deception. Do you think they'll honor the agreement? Elena asked. Marcus smiled. They don't have much choice. Our quantum field integration has spread to 17 human colonies already. The reports coming in suggest each implementation is evolving in unique ways. We're advancing faster than they can comprehend. What about the ship? Elena gestured around them. These changes, they're not just technological, are they? No, Marcus admitted. The quantum field has created a symbiotic relationship between the crew and the vessel. We're still studying the implications, but it seems like the ship has become an extension of our collective consciousness, and vice versa. Elena nodded, feeling the truth of his words in the subtle awareness that hummed constantly at the back of her mind. The presence of her crew and the ship itself, all connected in a network of thought and purpose. The irony isn't lost on me, she said after a moment. In trying to keep us contained, the Valkyrie forced us to break out of limitations we didn't even know existed. Human history in a nutshell, Marcus replied with a chuckle. Our greatest advances often come when our backs are against the wall. Outside the viewport, space itself seemed different now, more alive, more accessible. Elena could perceive the quantum threads that connected all matter, the underlying fabric of reality that had always been there but had remained invisible until humanity had been pushed to see beyond conventional understanding. What do we do with this gift? She wondered aloud. The power we now wield, it could reshape the galaxy. That's exactly what the Valkyrie feared, Marcus noted. But they made a critical error in their assessment of humanity. What's that? They assumed that because we could be aggressive and territorial, we would inevitably use advanced technology for conquest. They never considered that our greatest strength isn't our ability to fight. It's our ability to imagine better futures and work together to create them. As if in response to his words, the ship pulsed with a gentle blue light, the quantum field adjusting to their thoughts and emotions. Send a message to Fleet Command, Elena decided. Tell them we're bringing home more than just a repaired ship. We're bringing the future. The Defiant shimmered and accelerated, not by pushing against the fabric of space, but by becoming one with it, a testament to human ingenuity and the remarkable tendency of humanity to transform disaster into evolution. Across the galaxy, other ships were beginning their own transformations, as humanity collectively took its first steps into a new era of existence, not as conquerors or victims, but as innovators who had found their true place in the cosmic order. The Valkyrie had disabled their ship, but in doing so, they had unwittingly helped humanity ascend.